That's cool.
How bad you have to go?
We'll see. Can't hear myself. There I can. All right. All right. All right now.
Got it now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Are we on?
We're on. It's live. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Bill O'Reilly.
So, yeah, I was watching there's a guy on HBO, Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so left though. Like kind of
What, Bill Maher's left?
not Bill Maher. Who's the guy on HBO?
Dude, Bill Maher's super left.
Then that's him. Yeah. They're so left. It's almost like annoying at times because they did actually bring in like a Republican.
Are we gonna have a from the hill political?
I hope not. I don't really want to. I mean, what we'll lose like half of our subscriber base because we start talking about politics.
We definitely are. All right, I'm gonna sign on to my Facebook here.
You want to go on yours? I mean, you can just pull it up through mine. Unless you get on yours and you want to share it, you can do that too.
Yeah, I want to share from mine because I have a lot more friends than you.
Yeah. Oh, that's up for debate.
I'm just joking, man.
It's up for debate. You got that's O'Neill. I see Nick Corliss and I see Jared Blair.
Nick Corliss had a bomb ski today.
Did he?
Yeah,
so, what happened with the Norristown? That got obviously. Oh, they played. You guys played yesterday, right? Because didn't really rain that much.
I did not play yesterday. I went down to watch. It was the D2 qualifying tournament.
Nicky,
there was a lot of things going on. Nick played for MR2, which is another team. I'm not actually sure where they're at.
Who won? Nick, who won?
I think it was a team from Linfield called Stride.
Linfield team won?
Big East team. You know the big left.
Yeah, that's Ed Brzelica's sister's husband.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I went to high school with
Ed Brzelica is related to a lot of people.
Yeah, I went to high school with the Boers, and that's so Big E is married to Jess. That's Ed's sister.
Big E is a good player, and we haven't seen him that much. He was playing Linfield a lot.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever played Norristown. Yeah, there
he
you
has.
go.
He has for fall.
Nick said Stride won. Yeah, you're right.
Won.
Yeah.
So there was a forfeit situation, and I won't say what happened and all that, but
there was a forfeit situation.
Yeah, DePaul's was in it, and Nona was in it, and Stride was in it.
And someone had. Well, I need to know.
No, I'll tell you all. I don't want to tell you.
This is an off-air topic.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a fight or anything like that. It wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Bad. It was just something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, PFT. What do you think, bro?
I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave.
All right, PFT.
I'm exhausted.
Whatever you think, buddy.
Terrible. This is my first show without a hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually having some trouble hearing myself.
You got to turn the mic. You got it. Yeah. The money spot is the front side. You got it like turned down.
How many times have we gone through this?
I know, dude. You got it here.
That's better. All right, that's better.
Because the money side is the front spot.
Oy.
Ready to get this popping? What's up, everybody?
What is this song?
You don't like this song?
What is it?
This is DJ Snake, A Different Way.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite songs right now.
Yo, you know you're kind of weird on your music.
Why you say that?
So you one of the things that you said was one of your favorite songs was that one of that Maroon 5 songs, and I didn't like it.
Oh wait, I love that song.
So then I started listening to it, and it got stuck in my head over and over.
Dude,
and over.
So that's what Maroon 5 is, honestly. Like when they play a song, it's so catchy, and you listen to it, it gets stuck in your head, but then it wears off. I still love that song.
Have you concerted them?
No, they're coming soon, actually. I thought about going, but I don't know what the crowd would be at a Maroon 5
So
concert.
I went to DMB.
You did. Can we get a story from there?
Dude, I was so throwing out at DMB. It was a lot of fun. It was a whole lot of fun. And like people just you go there, and I actually found out another thing. There's an emblem. There's a DMB emblem. It looks like a little ballerina or whatever. And I thought, do you know like the Tiger Schulman sticker that people put on the back of their car?
Yeah.
So I always thought that was like your daughter does ballet somewhere at this place that I don't know about.
Sure.
But this sticker actually means like you're a huge DMB fan.
Oh God.
So I didn't know that. I liked Dave Matthews. I got into him like more at the end of college and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I figured I'd go to the concert, but I learned a lot of things.
So let me ask you a question. So I haven't been to a Dave concert in like 13 years. I'm 32.
But you have been.
I've been.
So I went to my first one.
That was first one.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And you're 31, right?
I'll be 32 on Monday.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. So tomorrow is it?
No, the following
Monday. Okay.
Yeah, the second.
So that's pretty crazy. That was your first concert. So tell us about the things that you learned at the Dave concert. Your first one.
Well, first of all, it was the sticker, the ballerina sticker.
Got that.
That's very important. There's certain songs that he always plays, and there's certain songs that you have to like. He has such a big
He does.
catalog.
He does.
So that you don't know what he's going to play. Now, I expected it to be completely packed, like jam-packed, because that's how it used to be, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, like, half the hill was full.
Right.
Half from the hill.
So
I was from the hill.
Yeah.
I was up on the hill, but it was only half full. We had a good time. I mean, I drank a couple. They have the twisted teas that are like 39 ounces.
Yeah.
And it costs
like
probably
$12.
they're like $56.
Yeah.
So I took out a couple mortgage payments and got a couple drinks. Had a good time. And it was my first tailgate there. So there's people walking around. The guy comes up to us. He hands me this military hat, and he goes, "Here, this is yours." I'm like, "Oh man, wow."
Oh, so like the short brim military hat?
No. Like it was a nice like digicam. You really like it.
So
the guy brings it over to me and he hands it to me and he goes, "Here, this is for you. This is to support our, the United States."
Yeah, man.
And all you need to do to keep this hat is give me a $20 donation to whatever. And I'm like, dude,
what a sales pitch! Sales pitch! He thought he was giving it to you for free.
So first you own the hat, and then he tells you to pay for the hat.
Yeah.
So
he got you.
Of course I did. You can't not do it.
I know.
But I said to the guy, this was legit. I was like, I don't have any cash on me. Maybe I can get some cash and give it to you in a little bit.
Did he say he takes Venmo?
Dude, the guy takes out the iPad and he has the swipey thing.
Oh yeah.
So at that point,
what a sales pitch!
At that point,
this guy's a pro.
Totally skeptical, right? So I'm like, so do you have a receipt or something that I know? So I'll totally email you the receipt and all that, and it says
100% legit.
And it was. So I have to give the guy credit. He was a very good salesman. He must have given out a million hats that day.
Dude, you should email that guy. We need him to sell our merchandise.
Listen, if Gambone gets on, Gambone gave him like his entire bank account PIN number and everything. So once Gambone gets on, he'll be able to vouch.
That's awesome.
But we had a lot of fun.
Dave puts on a great show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Gambone, who I went with, is a humongous fan. So he actually went the Saturday night, the night after as well.
Friday and Saturday?
He went Friday and Saturday.
Nice.
He's a total nerd.
Dave head?
He's a big music fan, and he is actually a very, very good drummer. But he sat outside afterward and got like pictures and autographs and stuff. Yeah. I wasn't that big a fan.
Plus, you had a big softball tournament in the morning too, right?
That did turn out well. No. The first two games were a little rough.
I believe that.
Until the afternoon, it was a little bit rough.
It's like Jack Boy catching a 9 MT time on Saturday.
Dude,
that's a problem.
Yeah. People were asking, "Yo, what's wrong with you, man? Like, do we need to send you to the hospital?"
Had a lot of Dave, is what you said, right?
Yeah, but we had a good time. It was a good weekend, and so just come back to the tournament here in Norristown. There was a lot of action at Heels Field this weekend. Went over yesterday to see the game. There was a lot of good ball played, and Stride from Linfield, I think, end up winning it.
That's what Nicholas said.
And I'm not as plugged in with the Linfield League as I was a couple years ago. I haven't been there for a couple of years, but a lot of good ball being played. And I was out today playing with the Pauls.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just trying to tire my legs out as much as I can.
Yeah, kind of hone the skills.
Exactly.
I actually had a funny story before we get started about the Linfield League. So we played Landis Creek golf course last Sunday, myself and Big Stud Webb, and I was sitting there and I had, my outfit's always matched, and I had the Twitch Inferno yellow hat on. And the dude next to me goes, "Oh, it's this guy wearing an Inferno hat. I bet you he plays softball. You play softball?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You want to play Linfield?" I was like, "Nope."
Who was it?
I don't know. Nice guy. He was an orange-haired fella. Had some tattoos on. Nice enough buff bloke. We sat there and talked.
An orange-haired fella?
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't catch his name. But yeah, he was a nice enough guy. But yeah, later I was like, "Nah, dude, I stink."
Linfield's a good league.
I heard.
They have nice fields. Their teams are kind of dying off here and there, but I think it's just because people are getting old. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting old. I'm getting tired out. I used to go up there and play after work, but getting there anymore is too difficult. It's honestly, 422 is like such a battle.
That's what I said right away to him. I'm like, dude, I live in Bridgeport, so for me to get up here by a 7:00 game, like what time would I leave? 4? Because 4:22 is going to be ridiculous, and so 29. So there's like no good way to get there at that time of day.
Yeah, it's brutal to get there. So I used to work up in Harleysville, but now since I've gotten my new job, I can't even make it there. It's infeasible to get there by 6. Yeah. I think they start at 6 or 6:30, something like that. It's like possible.
Honestly impossible. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start into the sports topic, and I know everybody's been waiting for today because I told everybody we were going to lead with golf, and we are going to lead with golf.
Brooks Koepka.
Brooks Koepka wins the U.S. Open.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Straight. How many people have done back-to-back on U.S. Open?
It's been, I think the last time it happened was 1979 and 1980. So
Tiger never did it.
Tiger never did it, no.
So what's interesting about like the whole Tiger aspect and the whole like almost name brand aspect is, so you know that I hate Tiger.
Yes.
But I almost want Tiger to win.
Yeah, because
so it's weird. So you hate him, but you actually want him to win because you want to see that drama going into the last couple holes. So there was a lot of that, but it's not the name brands that you want to say.
No, I agree with you. And so I think what you have with Tiger, and it happens with like a lot of dynasties, right, is you get the villain effect. Like you want him there,
yeah,
so that he can get beat at the end.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, and it's in golf's better when he is.
But what's weird about it is I don't even want him to get beat. I actually kind of want to see him do it.
Well, now he it's so crazy how, and I want to talk about Alex Rodriguez in the same light. It's so crazy how Tiger Woods has like molded himself from this cocky, the best golfer in the world, deplorable figure with the women and his wife. But now because he got hurt and he got so bad and everybody felt bad for him, now all of a sudden he's a sympathetic figure.
He's almost like an underdog.
Yeah,
right?
Now all of a sudden it's the big turn of fate that everybody wants him to win again when you used to hate him.
I don't know if it's that for me, but I saw myself sitting there at the end of the tournament and thinking, dude, how awesome would this be if Tiger was in it?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Dalton was up there, right?
DJ was up there.
Like, he's always going to be up there for the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's the best player in the world right now.
But Brooks Koepka, he's back-to-back U.S. Open champion, right? But he's not the name brand that people are looking for. Maybe he will be.
No,
is he a young guy?
He is, but he's not. I think he's 7th or 8th in the world. So people within the golf community know him, right? But here's the problem with him: he's not one of these big 5 guys right now.
Yeah.
And the big 5. It's
course.
DJ, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy, right? They're the 5 young studs.
Jason Day, dude.
Jason Day, he's
a
name, but he's not one of these big 5 guys that like everybody's watching. These big, young American
I don't
guys.
know. I'm watching Jason Day.
Rory's not American, but
I'm watching Jason Day.
Okay, so we'll make it the big 6.
I think he's always in contention. Justin Rose has always been talked about as a guy who's always in contention.
Yeah, but he's been around for a long time.
I know that, but you don't necessarily have to be a young guy.
No,
to be like the best talking guy.
It's the name. It's the name, right? Like Phil. So can we talk about the Phil incident before we talk about what I wanted to talk about?
Can we please talk about it?
All right. So for everybody that didn't watch, we're just going to talk about it real quick. But it was the last day, and Phil barely made the cut, and so he's just hanging around. And we're going to talk about the conditions at Shinnecock. By the way, great name for a golf course, Shinnecock.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the conditions here. But he's on this green, and he's struggling, and he hits a putt, past the hole, starts rolling down the hill. And it was one of the funniest things I've actually ever seen on a golf course. My man runs over and just
hits the ball
up the hill before it stops rolling.
Every drunk person in the world that's ever golfed and gotten to hole number 16 and they're shooting awful has done the same thing.
Yeah, I did it yesterday.
I'm going to talk to you about the most egregious thing that I've ever done in sports, okay? There was a time where I was super competitive about golf, and I was thinking that I was heading toward being a really, really good golfer, and we were getting down to one of the last holes. It was probably like 16, 17. I missed a putt, and the ball was this far from the hole. And I go up to the hole, and I take a hack with my putter just to get the ball out of there. I was so upset, and I took about 2 inches of green from the hole.
Right at the hole?
Just completely dug.
No.
I've never felt like a bigger idiot in my life. I felt like such a moron that I kept apologizing to the foursome that I was with the rest of the day. Even we went to dinner and stuff, went out and get drinks and stuff like that. But I was so competitive. I was so angry about how I played that I took a swipe at the hack green.
That's bad.
That's bad golf.
Bad. That's real bad golf.
What Phil did was, it was kind of funny.
It was funny. the outrage that it drew from like media members, I wanted to like smack him in the face. Some of them. He should be disqualified from this tournament. Dude, shut up.
But shut
your mouth.
Listen, you're hearing from guys that are 100% life golfers,
yes.
right? That's all they do. It's like
all they care
They
about.
respect the game. They study the game. That's all they do is just talk golf, eat, breathe, sleep, golf. We're not those guys.
No.
Right? Actually, you kind of are. But
I love golf, but I've just gotten into golf 4 years ago. So I'm not like a golf lifer to the point where that would bother me. And here's the thing I want to talk about with that. Like, there's this outrage for that. But I don't know if you saw the video where somebody from Barstool, sees Sergio walking by, and he probably had a bad shot. Sergio didn't play well. Sergio's kind of a dick, but sorry, Will. I'm going to curse again, too, because the guy asked Sergio what Saturdays are for, and you know what he said? Fuck you in the ass.
Whoa.
That's what
Come on, man.
That's what Sergio said, dude. He said that. And yet, how come no one's talking about his golf etiquette? I mean, all the guys was what are Saturdays for. He wasn't heckling them. I'm sure he probably had a bad shot, but then he goes and says that crap. But then people care about Phil taking a 2-stroke penalty on a green versus like Sergio cursing at fans.
I actually heard a lot of people were talking about how Phil's thing was a strategic thing.
Well,
he could have taken a drop or
Well, what happened? His explanation was the best part, right? Because it's totally horseshit. Because he goes, "Well, I didn't want it to roll all the way down the hill and have to hit it from down there, so I just knocked it back up." But he would have knocked it back up 1 stroke probably instead of taking 2. He was just done, man. He was just done.
All right, so let's address where that comes from. Okay, the fact that he was done. Let's talk about how that course was set up.
Yes.
And how the players reacted to how that course was set up.
Yes.
So the U.S. Open, it's notorious for being the most difficult tournament every year.
That's correct.
Right? So they make the greens insane. They make the pin placements insane. They make the rough insane. The rough was insane.
Yes.
Like you couldn't find anything.
No, right off of the first cut, your ball was gone. And the crazy thing is, right, and because we talked about Brooks Koepka winning last year, they were very upset because guys dominated that golf course. And they were coming in at like -14 or -15 to win.
Right.
They didn't want that.
They've had that, and they've also had the opposite. Which
we just saw it last week,
these guys, it was almost like they were walking through Valley Forge Park, like just trying to find their ball.
Yes.
Right. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the way the course is set up so that's almost unplayable?
Yeah, so I've always felt this way about golf courses in general, and it's almost like if you ever play a resort course. I don't know if for any of us casual golfers, you play a resort course, they don't want you leaving the tight
What's an example of a resort course around here?
Trying to think of a resort course around here. So there's one up in North Jersey that's like the nice New Jersey public course. It's called Ballyowen, and it's a resort course because if you leave the first cut, you're in grass high. Your ball's gone. And I'm talking about like this far off the fairway, dude. So like they don't want you leaving the field of play, and their fairways aren't particularly large either. So that's what a resort course is typically set up. And actually, so we went and played one in Mexico a couple years ago where it was a resort course, and literally there were guys out on the course working who would have bags of balls, and they would sell them to you $10 because they know you're going to lose 20 balls out there.
Right. So like, what fun is that?
It's not fun.
So when you have professionals that are doing this,
it's stupid to me. Honestly, I mean, the thing that I hated about this course setup, when I saw the first day and they were showing some of the flybys of the holes, they're at these championship tee boxes. They need to carry 260, 270 in the air just to get to the front of the fairway. And you think, well, these are professionals. They should all be able to do that. And that's true. But when you have to do that every time on a lot of these holes, one little errant kick and you're off the first cut, and now you're screwed.
Well, a lot of these guys, like I don't have a lot of sympathy for these guys because that's the typical stuff that regular golfers deal with all the time. It's why people get frustrated with golf. It's actually what makes golf fun a lot of times is how difficult it is to do.
Yeah.
So that once you actually get past a certain point and you're able to control your shots enough, it makes it more satisfying.
Oh, agreed.
That you've worked at it. And so, but these guys, they've actually this week they felt what other golfers usually feel.
Right.
And just usually general courses.
Correct. And the thing is, if you're doing that, right, if you have a course that's tight on one aspect and long, that's fine. But then having the greens be set up like that, the combination of that makes it ridiculous.
That's the most deadly thing. Right?
That's right. And the problem is, so Rory McIlroy said this. I listened to an interview that he did, and it made a lot of sense to me in that the way that the greens were set up, it really was kind of luck of the draw on where you went out and what group you got to play in. Because if you got to play in the morning on, say, Saturday, when conditions were bad, then you could possibly score. But everybody in the afternoon was screwed because once the greens got a little wet and they hardened up, there was nothing that you could stick. Nobody could make putts. And you got guys putting up, high 70s, low 80s.
Right.
And that was just luck of the draw when you
so
had to go
let
out.
me give you a 20-mile radius of where we are right now. What do you think the toughest greens are around here? You play a lot of courses.
I play a lot of courses around here. So I'll tell you that the toughest course I think I played recently was a couple weekends ago. I played Letterback for the first time.
Letterback's a nice course.
That's a very nice course, and I liked it a lot. It's very long, and the greens were really tough. Now, Josh had told us that Josh Surface, he got us on there. Thanks again, buddy. Because his company's a sponsorship there or whatever.
Judge group. We'll put it out there, the judge group.
So, but they were having a tournament there that day, so it was championship pin location. God bless. I mean, they were really, really difficult.
So I have played Letter Rock. It's a really nice course. The fairways are beautiful. The fairways are sponge.
Yes.
Right? That's the best thing to hit off of.
Yes.
I always enjoyed – I played there probably, 4 or 5 times when I was playing a lot. I don't play a lot anymore. I'm trying to get back into it so I can beat Jack. I will soon. Letter Rock is a really nice course, but it's kind of open. It's a more open course.
It's open, but it's long.
Jeffersonville is a really tough course.
Jeffersonville, we just played on Saturday. The problem yesterday was the rain. We got dumped on for a little bit, and then the conditions were let. So the thing about Jayville, and it's designed by a famous designer, Donald Roth, and they pulled out his designs when they redid the course 15 years ago. Thing is, that course is not long, but the way they cut their greens, talk about tough greens, tough approach shots, it's really hard to score well there. You'll get up and down real quick, and then all of a sudden you're throwing up bogeys and sixes because you two-putt or you couldn't chip on the green and say. So Jayville is a challenging course. Another nice course is Bella Vista, which is up in the Letterack area. That's a very nice course, very well kept.
Yep.
That's a tough course. I don't think the greens are particularly tough, but it is longer than most courses that people play around here. So
I don't know if I played Bella Vista, but I've been on Bella Vista. My wife's uncle used to live on the course there. It was a really nice course.
Nice course.
Walked around a couple times.
Yeah, and so
maybe I jump on once or twice. Great, maybe, who knows?
And so overall with the U.S. Open, I just think that problem that these courses are having is we talk about this with every sport, right? Guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger, and the equipment's getting better. They're making these courses just outrageously long, and the green's so tough. And it's just like, I wouldn't even. Would you want to play the course? Would you want to play Shinnecock?
I think for one tournament a year, these guys can be open to the craziness of the U.S. Open. I think that what they do with the course for the one time a year is fine. I have no problem with it.
I'm okay with it.
I understand that these guys get upset with it, and they, you see things like what Mickelson did, get all upset, and that was frustration.
Yeah,
right?
that's all.
We've all been there. We've all been there 100 times. So
usually when it happens to me, I throw up.
You know what? If that happens to Phil Mickelson once a year with his, what's he make, $50 million a year? I'm not gonna lose sleep about it.
Look, and
I think it's a cool thing. I think it's the U.S. Open to be the toughest tournament, and for guys to actually fear that tournament and not know what to expect. I think that actually makes it more interesting. I went into this weekend thinking, okay, who's going to come out of this thing?
Oh, that's what it was. It's
because leading up to it, you hear so much about how they prepared the course.
Yeah.
And
it's like Survivor. Like, who can survive the course? Who can not blow up?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
So it's one time a year, and I don't have any problem with it. I'm not – the fact of, these guys are not scoring well. Well, you know what? They'll score well next week.
Well, they're doing it right now.
When they go to Atlanta.
They're doing it right now at the Travelers. That's like,
exactly.
If they're putting up 61s and 62s because they're Travelers now, which is like the thing.
So Ryan Duke played today. Didn't have a hole-in-one. So he didn't have a hole-in-one today.
No hole-in-one, dude?
Yeah. Ryan is a big-time golfer, so he can check in and let us know.
Nick, you ever get a hole-in-one?
I haven't, man. I've been really close.
Me too.
I've been really close before. There's times where I actually thought that I got one.
Yes, I thought it rolled in.
And you're like, oh, man, I don't see the ball anywhere. Where's the ball? Where's the ball?
This far past the hole.
It's like 40 yards past
the hole. I turned it into a boogie. No, I didn't.
So, yeah, I want to get back at golf a little bit more. It was good to see the U.S. Open, challenge these guys because we've seen a lot of U.S. Opens where 15 under, 16 under. It's like the runaway. It's not even interesting. This was interesting coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
And, for Kaka to actually win 2 in a row.
Very impressive.
That puts him on that.